What's up, everybody? Welcome to the Father-Son Fantasy Football Podcast. My name is Paul.
My name is Justin, and we are getting ready for week 2. We're doing starts and sits of the week. We're each going to do one. We have no guests today. It's just me and my dad. But if you guys are new, please subscribe. We do content all season long into the season. We had some good off-season content, and week 2 is here. Week 1 it's in the past now. So now you got to look forward to week 2 and beyond. So we're doing start sits for week 2. We're going to do one quarterback, one wide receiver each, one running back each for each start sit, and then a tight end. And Dad.
What a game Andy Dalton had last night.
Yeah, we're going to talk about that
Thursday night game. Cincinnati
versus
Andy Dalton, 3 touchdowns to A.J. Green. Wow.
Yeah, if you win against A.J. Green, good luck.
Yeah, oh my goodness.
The good side is he didn't have over 100 yards, but he did have those 3 touchdowns in under an hour when Julio Jones had 3 touchdowns all of last year, so that's pretty crazy to think about that.
Dalton had 4 touchdowns.
4 touchdowns from Andy Dalton. Tyler Boyd looked good. John Brown continues to impress. He's definitely a buy. If he's on your free agency wire, I definitely put in a high bid for him. Looks to be used every week, and Flacco looks to him often, but I don't like Flacco at all. I'm not, this dude does not look like he wants to play football. I don't know.
He does all right, though. He did all right. Even in a loss, he still did pretty good.
Didn't win the game. I don't know. Put Lamar Jackson.
No, he didn't win the game.
I want to see Lamar Jackson play.
It's not going to happen. They paid him a lot of money to stay there, so I don't think it's going to happen this year.
Yeah, I don't think it's going to happen this year either. Other than that, nothing really take away. Alice Collins didn't get a lot of work. He looks bad. He's a hold for me. I wouldn't try to sell him. I wouldn't drop him. I'd hold him. You don't have to start him, but he's had 2. Buffalo's got a decent run defense, and then you got the Bengals who have a decent division rival. Those games are usually low scoring, except for when Andy Dalton has to throw for 4 touchdowns, like you said. Mixon had 87 yards, but just came out today. He may need some surgery on his knee because something's out of place, but that should only keep him out for 2 weeks if he does get the surgery. So he's a hold and maybe even a buy low if you're trying to.
Another injury for me. I got him on two teams again.
Yeah, you keep drafting.
Yeah,
running backs. That's the.
Aye, that happens. What are you gonna do?
Yeah, nothing you can really do about that. But good thing it's not a season-long injury, so you got lucky there, I guess.
Right.
Which is good. So, once again, shout out to our sponsor. We're getting ready for week 2, so week 2 DFS I'm definitely looking at. So if you're tired of getting crushed by the pros, DFS players, and sports bettors, listen up. TheQuantEdge.com has the tools you need to play like a pro. They have a lineup optimizer, injury tool, wide receiver, cornerback matchups, head-to-head tool. You're going to be armed with everything you need to win. You can make up to 150 lineups in seconds, see matchups to exploit, compare players to help you make the right decision you're on the fence about at thequantedge.com. You get exclusive access to the industry experts, articles, podcast, and TQE community by participating in the premium membership chat. And then we here at Father-Son Fantasy Football, we have a deal for our listeners. You guys can go and check out with that membership thing and use promo code FSFF. You can capitalize it all or not. It doesn't really matter, but FSFF is the code, and you get $10 off your first month. That's 1/3 of the price per month, and it also gives you money to play with DFS. So the $10 you save, you can go use it on DFS. So yeah, go to thequantedge.com to sign up today.
That's right. Money is good in your pocket.
Yeah, I'm excited to do DFS this week, and some of the starts for my starts I chose, I'm definitely putting in my lineups in DFS because I'm excited to see how they do, and some of them they're cheaper than other options. So some sneaky starts I have for you. So without further ado, before we get into today's episode, you can follow me on Twitter at JustinFSFF, and then the podcast Twitter is at FatherSonFF, and you can follow me back. I'll follow you back on there, and I'll be tweeting out during the games. I mainly try to watch the games, though. That's my thing. I like to watch the games, not tweet about it. So I'm excited for football to start, and we got some good starts and sits for you this week. All right, Dad. So starting sitting, we're going to do this for a standard PPR league. So 4 points pass touchdown, 6 points pass touchdown. Does not really matter. So who is your starter of the week for quarterback, Dad? I want to know who you're looking to play this week and who's going to possibly in waiver wires that people can pick up in 8, 10 team leagues, whatever leagues they're in, and they can play in for a good matchup and get some good numbers out of them.
The guy I'm picking this week, he might even be on a waiver wire in some leagues, but I do like a couple different quarterbacks. I like Phillip Rivers this week. I like Kirk Cousins this week. But the guy I'm picking this week is Alex Smith.
Oh, wait. Well, you say you like Kirk Cousins this week, really?
Yes.
In one of my leagues, I'm actually benching him for Big Ben.
Well,
Green Bay's got a scary good defense. Their rookies are playing really well, and they're all like velociraptors, like it's stuff Matt Kelly said. Like they're actually insane. Like watching them against the Bears, they're pretty good. They're young, but they're good.
Big Ben is probably the start of the week. I mean, I think he's going back home.
I hope he's healthy.
I think he's the start of the week out of all quarterbacks. But I'm going to talk about Alex Smith because he's the guy I like this week. I do like Big Ben, but Washington's offense was impressive in week one at Arizona. Smith passed for 255 yards and 2 touchdowns. He had 8 carries for 14 yards and scored, I think, 23 fantasy points in PPR. And he should score 20 plus points for the second game in a row this week against the Colts. I mean, look, we were all surprised last week, Andy Dalton, the fantasy points he scored against Indianapolis last week. But I expect Smith to have more success in his first home game in Washington. He's going to be a top 10 quarterback in week two.
Quarterback week 2. I couldn't agree more with you. Originally going into it, that was going to be my start of the week.
Wow.
But you took him from me, so I'm going to have to go the other way, zig, and then I'm going to put another start. And this week's player that I'm finding on waiver wires and even 12-team leagues I've seen on waiver wires, so go check if he's there for you. And that's Case Keenum. This guy is home, his first home game as a Bronco, I believe. Was he at home game last week? I'm not really sure about that. But hey, he's home against the Raiders. The Raiders are awful. They rank 30th against a freaking pass. You saw what Emmanuel Sanders did last week. He looked really good. Demaryius Thomas looked good. Cortland Sutton looked good. And they have a good receiving back in Philip Lindsay, it looks like. So that's the weapons are there for him to be a start. And then you go against a team, I should say, that's coached by John Gruden. John Gruden does not know what he's doing out there, I feel like. This guy, it looks clueless out there. He threw for 329 yards last week. Case Keenum and 3 touchdowns, but he's also picked off 3 times. But he completed 64% of his passes, and he spread the ball around pretty well. So the Rams, they had 253 passing yards from Jared Goff, who tested his secondary a lot on deep routes. And the yards wasn't high, but he did get a few pass interference calls. So I look for Keenum to air the ball out against the Raiders and get some of those deep balls to connect to whoever. So I think he's at least, at worst, a QB2. So, but if you can pick him out on the wire, he's not a bad spot start if you have a guy who has a bad matchup this week.
Oh, he should be pretty decent at home. I believe it is their first home game.
Yeah, it's first home game. I'd play him over guys such as Jared Goff. I don't want to play against Arizona. I might play against him, Case Keenum, and other than that, but Phil Rivers, like you said, to a good start going against Buffalo. I don't mind you playing Keenum if you want to go for a matchup there. But I played Keenum over Luck this week. That's a little bit bold. I'd play Keenum over Mitch Trubisky and other guys like that. And Mariota, obviously. Mariota's injured, so. There's that. Who's your sit? I want to know who your sit is for the week, Dad. So, we talk about guys you want to start, but who's the sit that you are not playing in leagues this week?
Well, my sit of the week, he had a fantastic week last week, but Ryan Fitzpatrick.
Ryan Fitzpatrick. A lot of people may be gravitating to go grab him after his amazing week 1, so why are you sitting him this week?
Well, he was the star of week 1 when he led the Bucs into New Orleans and scored, in some leagues, 50-plus fantasy points. I mean, he had 417 yards passing, 4 touchdowns, and no interceptions. He also ran for 36 yards and a touchdown. It was exceptional and a huge surprise, but he should turn back into a pumpkin this week. Okay, did you hear me? A pumpkin. The Eagles' defense, which should be fresh after last playing on Thursday night in week 1, won't be surprised by Fitzpatrick, and Philadelphia's pass rush should make him feel uncomfortable because they're coming after him. It was great if anyone bought into Fitzpatrick in week 1, but you're chasing points if you plan on starting him in week 2. So he is my sit of the week.
I'm on board with that. I mean, I think a lot of people are, like you said, are going to.
I think he's going to struggle. He's going to struggle with Philly.
I can definitely see him struggling in Philly.
But I mean, what he did with the Saints was I didn't think no one thought he would do that to the Saints either last week. So, but I don't think he's going to do it 2 weeks in a row.
2 weeks in a row, that game was weird by the Saints. They didn't really do that. So, my quarterback sit of the week. I'm feeling a little bit weird saying it because he looked good. I had a lot of depth of target, but it's going to be Andrew Luck. I think you sit this guy and you play a guy like Alex Smith over him this week. Alex Smith's a great play this week. And I think you start with that.
He chucked the ball 53 times last week.
Yeah, 50-plus times, and that was a product of the awful defense and the below-average rushing attack. So this team's going to have to, I guess, go. It's the third highest total for Vegas this week is the Redskins and Colts. But Washington was top 10 in average fantasy points allowed last year to quarterbacks and made the Cardinals' offense look awful. Sam Bradford had 2.8 fantasy points, and yes, that's Sam Bradford, but it's a little risky option right here just because based off the 1 week. So I'm starting a guy like Alex Smith over him. I put Case Keenum over him. And Matthew Stafford, he had a better week. I put him over him. So I'm benching Andrew Luck this week just because this defense is surprising. I know Sam Bradford's not much, but still want to see how Andrew Luck's arm is. And I would not be scared to sit him if there's better options on the wire. Obviously, there's not better options, then I would not sit him. But if you had the opportunity to pick up an Alex Smith or a Case Keenum, or even play Matthew Stafford. People could have dropped Matthew Stafford after that awful week. I'd pick him up and put him over Andrew Luck this week. I wouldn't drop Andrew Luck. I'd drop someone else on your bench, but
I don't think anyone's dropping Matthew Stafford after last week.
One of my leagues, someone dropped him.
Really?
Yeah, awful week 1. Someone reacted.
Well, he did have a bad week 1, but you can't overreact on week 1. It's Matthew Stafford.
Someone overreacted.
Wow.
It happens, and I scooped him up.
Here you go.
So I'll take that. So,
okay.
Thinking of people like maybe scoop up, I mean, it's really hard to do with running backs, but we're going to go to start to running back stat. I want to know who your start of the week is for running back. Who's a guy that you want to put in the lineup and roll with? You can find him on, you don't have to find him on the waiver wire. You don't have to find him on like a deep bench spot, but like guys that who had a week 1 that people may consider sitting this week. So who you starting?
I'm going to start Dion Lewis this week.
Hey, that was my start of the week last week. Why are you starting Dion Lewis this week?
Because he was the best Titans running back in week 1 at Miami, and it wasn't even close. He had 16 carries for 75 yards and a touchdown, along with 5 catches for 35 yards. Derrick Henry, meanwhile, finished with 10 carries for 26 yards, along with 1 catch for 5 yards. Now, Henry, into his defense, he did have a 61-yard touchdown run called back by a penalty. If that stood, it probably would have been a different story, but it didn't. So I think he's a candidate to score in every game. But this could be a game where Lewis dominates touches again, and the Patriots just had James White catch a touchdown against the Texans defense last week. We'll see what happens, but and then Marcus Mariota's not playing. But either way, Lewis is a low-end starting option, but he's a must-start option in PPR.
I like that pick. So my must-start option is a guy people may be on the fence about. I don't know why, but that's Chris Thompson. We're going back to this Indianapolis-Washington game. I said it's the 3rd highest Vegas total. You know what that means? Poor defense, a lot of offense. So that's going to mean they're going to be down. They're going to be throwing a lot. And Chris Thompson looked amazing last week. I thought.
You just say that's the highest scoring?
No,
they
3rd.
Expect a lot of points?
It's the 3rd highest total in Vegas for week 2.
Okay.
So there's that 3rd highest. That means there's going to be points. That's
so
what
they
Vegas
expect a shootout.
They expect a shootout. So, I mean, I believe that Chris Thompson, people are still up in the air about. I don't know why. The Colts allowed the 31st last year in fantasy points allowed the running backs. Chris Thompson looked good coming off the injury, and Alex Smith's dump offs, the short intermediate routes. So he's going to look to get more targets this game, I think, and he's going to be a great running back 2 option, and especially in PPR leagues. Keep it simple. Fantasy football does not have to be hard. Easy matchup. A quarterback likes to throw it short. A running back who's a good pass catcher and is electric.
I think both of them running backs there are going to do good, even Peterson.
I think Peterson can have that. I think Chris Thompson outscores Peterson this week, though, because it's going to be closer than the Arizona game. That's my guess. I mean, I'll put a bet on that. You want to put a bet on that? PPR at least we'll put it on the table real quick. A little bit of the same running back who has more points. I say Chris Thompson. You could say Andrew Peterson.
I say Adrian Peterson.
All right.
Put it on the table.
Put it on the table. More fantasy points.
Right,
PPR.
That's a 1-week bet. That's a 1-week bet.
Yes, a 1-week bet. Listener league. We're going to do scoring in listener league because it's normal PPR. We'll do that, and whoever has more points gets that. So I'm saying Chris Thompson. Let us know. Tweet at me who you think is going to have more points this week. If you're a Chris Thompson for PPR leagues or Adrian Peterson, it's going to be close.
I'll take that chance because I think both guys are going to be good this week.
Both guys, yes. So we think these guys are going to be good, but every week we see people just poop in their big boy pants, as the fantasy footballers say. So who this week are you sitting at running back? Who is not going to do good? Who are you staying away from?
I'm going to sit the same guy 2 weeks in a row.
Oh, no.
Marshawn Lynch.
Marshawn Lynch is another sit for you. He had that touchdown run he had was insane, though.
That's okay.
But unfortunately, you don't get bonus points for dragging more guys into the end zone.
He's been dealing with an illness all week, so despite that, he's still going to be playing against the Rams. Right after that game, I think he got sick. But it's hard to trust him in this matchup against the Broncos. While he did have 11 carries for 41 yards and a touchdown and 2 catches for 8 yards, then I guess he got sick during the game. I'm really not sure what happened, but I know he's been dealing with
too many Skittles. Marshawn Lynch has too many Skittles. I don't know. Hopefully,
maybe so. He's going to have to recover. He's going to have to recover on a short week before going on the road. Last year at Denver, Lynch struggled with 9 carries for 12 yards and no catches.
Dad, who does Denver have on the outside rushing in? It's in a little bit of Von Miller and Bradley Chubb now. Oh yeah, that's not fun. That's
I don't think. Yeah. And so, given his health this week and traveling on a short week, I'm sitting him this week, and I have him in the league, so he's going to be on my bench.
He's on your bench. So there you go. Not only are you saying you're sitting him, but you're calling him a sit, but you're doing it yourself. That's how you You do what you say right there, and I like
right.
that.
I'm doing it myself.
Yeah. So my sit of the week comes from a guy last week who Nick was a fan of because of the volume. And yes, we like volume, but this guy is awful, and that is Jamal Williams. He's my sit of the week. Only 47 yards on 15 carries. That's awful. And then this week he's going against Minnesota, which that run defense, I don't even have to say, but holy crap, are they good. And then not even that, but the Minnesota Vikings are home. And playing on the road and a division rival is not good, and I am benching him. I'd rather play guys. Chris Thompson who's available. I think it's going to be a low-end running back 2 at best this week. So if you have better options, play him. If you don't have better options, then obviously I wouldn't play him. But like I put Bilal Powell, I'd probably put in over Jamal Williams this week. I'm okay with that because Bilal Powell got 10 carries, and it was a blowout game. I think he would have got more carries if this game was closer. So that's a guy I'd play over him. And James White, I may even play over him too, just because of the pass-catching upside.
That's a good sit. A couple weeks ago, I said it was Jamal Williams' job to lose because Aaron Jones had the 2-week suspension. I feel I'm wrong. I mean, he didn't have a good week 1. I don't think he's going to have a week 2. Jones is going to come back. I think Jones is going to take that start and roll over.
Start and roll over, yeah, 100%.
I don't think Williams. I was wrong on that.
Who do you think is going to win this game? Vikings or Packers?
Oh, Vikings, I think.
Vikings.
I think the Packers will give him a little run, but I think
it's not going to be close.
Vikings.
No. I think this is going to be a surprise, a little, not blowout.
Did you see what Aaron Rodgers did last week in the shotgun? He's going to be in the shotgun here too, because he's still hurt. He's not going to get under center. I believe he's going to be in a shotgun and just chuck it all day long. He better chuck it to Jimmy Graham because he did not have a good week last week.
Jimmy Graham's not going to have a good week again. I don't know what you expect. I'm benching Jimmy Graham. That's not my sit of the week, but I am benching Jimmy Graham. He's awful.
I'm starting him. I'm starting.
You have to.
I'm not down on him yet. I love Jimmy Graham. I hope he doesn't let me down 2 weeks in a row.
2 weeks in a row, he's going to let you down, dude.
Can't believe it.
All right, so let's talk about guys who are not going to let you down. Well, starting wide receivers. Who's your start of the week for wide receiver? I can go first. You want me to? Up to you. I'll go first.
Go ahead.
Start, same guy last week, keeping it consistent here. Tyler Lockett. Oh, my goodness. Am I ready? Okay, he's going against the Bears. Oh, the Bears are scary, right, Dad? The Bears are scary defense now.
Yep, the Bears are a good defense.
So I mentioned that last week about how whenever Doug Baldwin went out of the game, how Tyler Lockett commanded snaps in the slot. Remind me who the Packers who faced the Bears last week, who their slot receiver was. Oh, it's Randall Cobb. Oh, what did Randall Cobb do last week? Oh, that's right. It tore him up with that 75-yard touchdown. And guess who's faster than Randall Cobb? Tyler Lockett. I think that you're going to see Tyler Lockett get more targets because Baldwin's gone, which he's already saw increase. And he's in the slot, which means their third cornerback, whoever was on Randall Cobb, did not know how to cover anything. Russell Wilson's a little better of a decision maker, I guess, than the hobbled Rodgers. I don't know. Rodgers was elite with that 1 foot, but this guy has 2 legs this time to play on, and he can run outside the pocket, and I guess offensive line is still bad, but Russell Wilson makes plays happen. So does Aaron Rodgers. They're both near the same skill set, whereas Rodgers has more skill set, but Rodgers was hobbled by injuries that game. So I expect Russell Wilson to be able to throw the ball, and I think most of those targets are going to go to guys such as Tyler Lockett. And I am all in on Tyler Lockett this week. I'm not worried about the defense, but I think it's a good start. It's a little not like, easy start, but that's my guy to start this week.
So I'd like to make another table bet if you're interested.
Tyler Lockett or Hill?
Brandon Marshall.
Tyler Lockett.
I believe
Tyler
Brandon
Lockett. I think Brandon Marshall can get a touchdown.
Going to have more fantasy points than Tyler Lockett this week.
All right, I say Tyler Lockett. I mean, I think they're both going to have value. I like that.
Put it on the table. There's another bet.
Dang.
Oh yeah, I like that.
I thought you were gonna do a little like a different player on a different team.
Oh, I'm gonna stay with the same team. I like Brandon Marshall.
I think Brandon Marshall, if he's still in free agency still, and if you have a bench spot, you consider dropping someone. But this is gonna be a tough matchup against the Bears because he's not in the slot. He's on the outside. But since Baldwin's injured, the law of conservation of targets, you should get more targets.
Same as our last bet. Either one of these guys could be the leader there.
No, Lockett's the leader.
Oh, same as the last guy.
No, Lockett is our leader. All right, Dad.
All right.
Who is someone that you want to start this week? Don't say Brandon Marshall. Don't say Brandon Marshall.
There's a couple guys I like. I like Emmanuel Sanders again, but
we love Emmanuel Sanders. Emmanuel Sanders start. Okay, done. That's one. We agree.
My start of the week is going to be Nelson Aguilar.
Wait, hold on, Dad. You get. This is wow. My dad's something smart. I'm actually gonna say this, dude. I love this. This was my guy I was thinking about doing, him or Lockett.
He was real busy in week 1 against Atlanta. He had 8 catches on 10 targets, but he managed, do you hear me? A laughable 33 yards. All them targets and 8 catches and 33 yards, really? That's not going to happen 2 weeks in a row. He also had one carry for 16 yards, and get this, and he threw a 15-yard pass to Nick Foles as part of a Philly special play.
He looked better than Nick Foles last week at
Yeah, but
quarterback.
he got no yardage last year.
No, he looked better at quarterback. He had one completion for 15 yards.
The Eagles are going to do everything possible to get him the ball, and that should be the case because Jeffrey is out again. I expect him to have a big game this week. It's a positive matchup against the Bucs.
The Bucs,
especially, I believe Grimes, the cornerback, is out again.
And the Bucs were 31st in average fantasy points allowed to wide receiver last year, and Jeffrey's out.
Listen to me right now, everybody. Aguilar is a must-start PPR receiver and a solid option in any format. Definitely start of the week for me.
Definitely start of the week for me. I love it. I like it. Keeping it simple. Not in the good matchup, and you got no Jeffrey. I like it. I like to pick that. I like it.
Right.
So, I'm gonna have you go first this one. Who is your sit? Who is your wide receiver sit? Who is a guy who people may want to start, but they should sit this week?
There's two guys. One guy, the Marquise Goodwin. He's hurt.
He's
even
out.
if he was, I don't think he's right. Oh, he's out now.
Yeah, okay. The Marquise Goodwin just moments when recording, probably 2 minutes ago.
Even if he was gonna start, I would say a sit because he's hurt. So my sit of the week.
Before you say your sit of the week, Dante Pettis, if he's available, he makes a nice spot start this week. If you were struggling hard, I like Dante Pettis, and I think Pierre Garçon obviously gets a bump.
Right.
But Dante Pettis is a good pickup if he's available. All right, go ahead, Dad. Sorry about that.
My sit of the week is a guy you love so much.
If it's Amari Cooper, I'm okay with that because John Gruden's an idiot.
My sit of the week is Chris Hogan.
Whoa.
Listen to me. Just know what I gotta say.
Whoa. Who's your sit of the week?
Chris Hogan.
Why? Let's hear why.
He was one of the biggest disappointments in week 1.
I can attest to this.
With his performance against the Texans. He had one catch for 11 yards on 5 targets. I was hoping he'd have a better debut, but he didn't. Part of the reason I wanted Hogan to start off playing well was because of his matchup in week 2 at Jacksonville. Even though Odell Beckham had 11 catches for 111 yards on 15 targets against the Jaguars, you can't expect Hogan to have a quality outing. His time will come, even once Ellerman returns, but keep Hogan benched in week 2 against Jalen Ramsey. Because he is not Odell Beckham. Okay, Odell Beckham got the best of Ramsey last week. Chris Hogan's not going to do that. Sit him.
Wow. I mean, do I have to talk about this now?
He's not Odell Beckham. Go for it. You can talk about it.
All right, I'll talk about it. So, yeah, this week's not going to be good. This week's not going to be good for Chris Hogan. He's going against the Jaguars defense.
Wait, you don't like him either?
I don't like him this week, Dad. I don't like him.
I like the music. I
don't like him this week, Dad, okay? I'm going to cry right now.
That's a good point.
Jacksonville was first last year in the average fantasy points allowed. They're really good. It's just you can't play Chris Hogan this week. There's definitely better options available, unless you have one of my leagues. We have a 3 flex spot league where I had to play Chris Hogan. But if you only have 2 spots or even 1, you're sitting Chris Hogan this week. It's very sad. I'm not happy about it. But next week, it's not the Jaguars. You're playing Chris Hogan. I'm very sad.
I like the music. I like the touch. Yeah, the touch is good.
I'm not happy about it, but I agree with you.
And you agree with me again. All right.
Yeah, today's an agreeing podcast, apparently, Dad.
Until he shows me something we're sitting.
No. It's not. It's just a defense. It's a bad matchup.
Yeah.
It is a bad matchup. There's nothing you can do about that.
No, you can't.
My sit of the week, if he was playing on a Sunday, would have been Michael Crabtree. He got 10 points in PPR leagues, but it's not Michael Crabtree because he already played. My sit of the week is Randall Cobb, a guy who we said went off last week. We saw him go off. No, not this week. It's Minnesota. I'm not a Vikings fan, but I am a Vikings truther. I believe they will win the Super Bowl this year. I don't see Randall Cobb doing much. The only reason why he would do something is if Aaron Rodgers does play, which is still up in the air. I think he's going to play. They're going to be in shotgun, like you said, and the passes are going to go to the slot, and that's Randall Cobb. So maybe he gets volume, but I don't think that the Vikings are going to let up a 75-yard touchdown. He's not going to put that kind of yards on a weekly basis. The 10 targets they were promising, but he topped that total just twice in 2017. I expect a normal week for Cobb, which means he's a wide receiver 3, not a wide receiver 2. So put him in your flex spot, sure, upside's there, but there are better options I believe you can possibly find in your lineup to put. Chris Godwin, if he's available, I like Chris Godwin more than Randall Cobb this week. I'll put that on the table if you want to do that. I will say Chris Godwin.
No, I'm not making a bet.
Good job. And that's my sit of the week. So we have one more position to go to, Dad. I'm tight end, and your boy Jimmy Graham's got to go into Minnesota, but he's not my sit of the week. Who is your start of the week for tight end this week, Dad?
Well, there's one guy's a definite
You can
start,
give
George
two. I
Kittle.
don't care if you give two. Go ahead.
Well,
I'll go.
George Kittle, what a fantastic week one he had. A team high 9 targets, and he finished with 5 catches for 90 yards.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, with Goodwin out again, George Kittle's a must start. He has a potential to be a top 5 tight end this week. The Lions didn't face a quality tight end against the Jets in week 1, but last year Detroit was top 10 in fantasy points allowed to tight ends. So I think Garoppolo's going to lean on him. So he's a must start this week. But my start of the week, and I'm high in this guy all year long, is Jordan Reed.
That's back to back.
That's not your guy?
No, that's not my guy, but that's back to back. You did that last week. You told everyone about him last week.
And he did good last week for just coming back from an injury. Look, it was great not only to see Reed play in week 1 at Arizona, but he also reminded us of how good he can be. He only had 5 targets, but he made them count with 4 catches for 48 yards and a touchdown. He has another chance for another solid outing this week at home against the Colts. Reed should be listen to me right now, everybody. Reed should be considered a must-start fantasy option moving forward every week as long as he stays healthy. This guy, if he could stay healthy, he's going to be fantastic all year long. That's my start of the week.
So when he's healthy, the fantasy footballers have a Rule 86. It's called when Reed's healthy, you put him in your lineup. And
absolutely, every week.
So my guy's going to be a guy you can maybe find on the waiver wires. So not a guy everyone may have is Jordan Reed everyone may have, but still concerned about. But like Reed's a good start. My guy's going to be Benjamin Watson. So Benjamin Watson had 4 targets. He caught all 4 of his passes last week, and this guy, he put up the 40 yards, I think it was, so he had 8 points in the PPR league. Not bad. That was against the Buccaneers, who are a lot better than the Browns. The Browns ranked dead last versus tight end in fantasy. He's a great streaming option, and they were in a shootout last week. So I think Ben Watson is a great streaming option. You can find him on the wire, and Drew Brees is going to get at least 5 targets to this guy this week, and that's not bad for picking up a tight end and putting him in your lineup.
The Saints are pissed. They lost last week. They're going to come back and destroy.
I do like Jonnu Smith if he's still on the wire. I think he's going to be a good play this week. He's going against Houston's defense, who was 28th last year in fantasy points allowed to tight end. So I do like Jonnu Smith. He's one of my favorite waiver wire pickups. I think if he's still there, please get him. And if someone has him, try to send like a low offer to him to try to get Jonnu Smith, because this guy, he could possibly be a league winner. I think if he puts up the Dwayne Walker numbers and you get him on waiver wire, that's insane. So if you didn't get tight end early, if you didn't get Gronk, try trading for him. Who's your sit, Dad? Who's a guy that you're not going to play this week that you don't want to play? Who is it? Because I have mine.
No, I'm not really sure. I'm going to take a guy.
One. You say it. Don't take my guy.
I'm going to take a guy who had a good week last week, but I don't think it's going to continue.
Oh, it's my guy. Isn't it my guy?
Will Disley.
Will Disley. Oh.
Did I say that right? For Seattle.
I don't know. It wasn't even my guy. That's an obvious sit. But
so listen, he was a great surprise in week 1 at Denver with 3 catches for 105 yards and a touchdown on 5 targets. That doesn't mean you have to start him in week 2 at Chicago. Chicago's got a good defense. While he did have a red zone touchdown against the Broncos, and Seattle is missing 14 touchdowns from its tight ends last year with Jimmy Graham and Luke Wilson gone. Don't expect him to have many 66-yard receptions on a regular basis. He could be asked to spend more time blocking with Mack on the other side of the ball. So, I mean, he's a good guy to stash after you've seen him in week 1. That means there's some good signs to come in the future, but I don't want to start him against the Bears.
The Bears.
Good
choice, Dad. Good choice.
I mean, last week he had 105 yards. That's a big surprise, but I don't think he's going to do it.
I thought you were going to take one of my 2 sits of the week.
Oh, let me have him.
Jimmy Graham, sit, ill, disgusting. That's already one.
Like,
I'm not
dude,
playing
he's gonna go off this week after what he did last week.
If you had Jimmy Graham playing for a touchdown upside. Yeah, well, that's what happened all last year, too. Jimmy Graham, when he didn't have a touchdown, he did not do well for your team. When he has a touchdown, he does well for your team. That's why.
I'm going to play some of that music if he has another bad week.
I'll have that ready for you. I'm going to be happy. But my sit of the week is Kyle Rudolph. I was not, as a Kyle Rudolph owner.
He's another guy who had a terrible week last week.
As a Kyle Rudolph owner, I was not happy to see. He did not have a terrible week. He had a touchdown. And when you get a tight end to have a touchdown, especially last week tight ends are awful. So the fact that he had a touchdown made him in the top 10 for tight end this week. So
but look at because of 7 of the top 8 struggled.
He had 1 catch, 11 yards, and a touchdown. Only 2 targets. And I think this is going to be a problem with him all season long. So if you have Rudolph, try selling him to a tight end needy team that has Olsen or Walker. Get rid of him right now. You don't want him anymore. He's a great red zone threat, but I'm not playing him this week. I'm playing Benjamin Watson over him and Jordan Reed over him, and I'm playing Jack Doyle over him. I like Jack Doyle a lot. He had 10 targets. He's still going to be involved. Once those touchdowns from Ebron swing the Doyle's way, Doyle will be top 5 this year. That's Andrew Luck's favorite guy to target. Easy enough. So those are our starts and sits for each position. I hope you guys enjoyed it. It wasn't too long for you. Hopefully you guys got the ride to work and were able to listen to it and maybe pick up some guys or even sit some guys. Another QB, I'll give you one last bonus one right here to start this week, is Tyrod Taylor going against the Saints defense, who you saw just get destroyed by Ryan Fitzpatrick. And arguably, I don't know if you agree with me here, Cleveland, it feels weird saying this, has better weapons than Tampa Bay. Landry, Gordon, Njoku, Duke Johnson,
The Saints are supposed to have a pretty decent offense.
Defense
also. I don't know what happened last week.
No one knows what happened last week. I don't know what happened. No one knows. But that's going to do it for today's episode. If you guys are new, please subscribe. Stay with us all season long. We're ready to help you guys win some leagues, and I'm ready to win in the Western League again. So, Tyler, you're going down. Your team may look a little scary, but
Look out, Mitch. I'm not going 0-2.
Mitch, he says he's not going 0-2. I just got Odell Beckham. Let's talk about that trade real quick. What do you think about that trade? I gave up LaShawn McCoy and Keenan Allen for Odell Beckham and Pierre Garçon, I think it was.
It's not a bad. I think you won that trade. I'm not a big fan of McCoy. Anybody
on Buffalo. I don't care how McCoy does. I did not want a piece of that offense. I said I'll get rid of it. I don't care. Give me OBJ. I now have Odell Beckham and Alvin Kamara. Thank you. But I did give up a decent amount. It was not a very one-sided. I think it was pretty close. Keenan Allen by himself is pretty close to Odell. Arguably. Yeah, I mean, he gets targets. Yeah, but I'll take Odell, baby. I'm happy. I got Odell. I got Odell, Dad. I got Odell.
All right.
I got Odell. Oh, Odell and Kamara. Good luck, Tyler. All right. I hope everyone has a good week, too. Enjoy it. Go to thequantedge.com. Use code FSFF at checkout for $10 off. Hopefully win you some money in week 2 for DraftKings or FanDuel. Either or. $10 off for your first month. Code FSFF. It's going to be in the description below. Twitter will also be there. Everyone, enjoy week 2, guys.
Enjoy.